Okay, so this shelf is a little eaten by a tree at the moment, but we'll see what we can do. There isn't really that much at the top, so instead of going right up the stepladder, I'm just going to try and hold it up. So at the top we have JoJo. So we've got JoJo Part 1, 1 to 3, JoJo Part 2, 1 to 4, JoJo Part 3, 1 to 10, JoJo Part 4, 1 to 9, and JoJo Part 5, 1 to 5. Now I do know 6 has come out recently, but I haven't seen it in store yet. I have not read very much JoJo at all. In fact, JoJo is a series that I had planned to try and read over Christmas, though a whole bunch of things happened and I've not really had the chance I hoped I would. Oh, you can see how dusty it is. I do try to dust fairly frequently, but I often will miss a shelf or two just because there's so many. I think I'm probably just going to try and read Chainsaw Man at least, and then just slowly do JoJo's. I really am looking forward to reading JoJo's. It sounds like it's just going to be my sort of silly, dumb humour. I also quite like these hardbacks, as I said, with Fist of the North Star. They're just quite nice. I don't like that they changed between Part 3 and Part 4, though to be fair, I prefer the style of Part 4 and Part 5 over 1 to 3, but I just wish there was some form of consistency. Next we have Jujutsu Kaisen, we don't have any dust. Next we have Jujutsu Kaisen 0 to 17, which is mostly kind of up to date. I've read to about here, I think, and then lots of random volumes I couldn't find because of stocking issues. I managed to find Part 0 for $3.99. So happy. I think Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man are like two of the series where a lot of people were paying crazy prices for them, and I just didn't understand why. It was like, they're gonna get reprinted, and a lot of people were like, well, what? They don't. It's like, but it will. And they did. And people were paying crazy prices, and I paid 3 for 2 or less than on all of these, so yay. Next we have Juni Taisen 1 to 4, and that is a complete series. This is another series that I'll often recommend if you're interested in a short shonen series. I really enjoyed this. It's like a battle royale, basically, between the Chinese Zodiac. There is a light novel of it. I thought it was really good. I liked it. It, surprised me. There was always twists that I wasn't expecting. I did enjoy it, though. Would recommend. It is only 4 volumes, yeah. Next we have Kaguya-sama 1 to 8 and 9 to 23. Just split out because I was just making space and stuff. So Kaguya-sama I really loved up to this point where a particular thing happened. I don't really want to spoil it. And then I think it went downhill for a few arcs. And then this recent arc, which might be the final arc, it's definitely picked up again. I'm enjoying it a lot more. I'm enjoying it early Kaguya-sama days as opposed to this lull. I feel like this was a bit of a lull for me. I love the humour in Kaguya-sama, and I absolutely love the ramen chapters. They're just wonderful. Next we have Kaiju Girl Caramelized 1 to 6, and that is up to date. Kaiju Girl Caramelized, not that one, is absolutely gorgeous. It's probably up there for my favourite artwork in manga ever. It's all about our main character who, for some reason, whenever she experiences strong emotions, she turns into a kaiju. And that's mostly been okay until she meets a boy. And yeah, she kind of experiences strong emotions a fair bit more frequently. And she's trying to hide it, not particularly successfully, and things keep going very wrong. Would definitely recommend. This is lovely, gorgeous, so pretty. Okay, then we'll do this top one. We have Kaiju number 8 1 to 4. I haven't read volume 4 yet. Again, was in my basket. I have a very big basket, and then I put it away for this. Very much enjoy. Was really fun battle shonen. Probably one of my more favorite ones at the moment that's ongoing. Next we have Kakiguri. So we have 1 to 13 and 14 15, and Kakiguri Twin 1689. So I haven't read Kakiguri Twin yet because I'm missing volumes. They're very hard to find, at least for a good price. I've been reading Kakiguri for quite a while. I really enjoy the gambling. I love the games. I love when they play games and they explain all the rules and you're trying to follow along and everyone's bluffing everyone. It's great. Really love it. Don't love how infrequently volumes come out. Also don't love how pricey volumes are. This one was $14.99 in Forbidden Planet Leads. Very upsetting. Next we have Kakuriko 1 to 7, and that is up to date. This series releases a volume every 2 years, I swear. I picked up 1 to 6, I think, and it was when's 7 come out? And it's just a very long time. I think it's okay. I definitely enjoy the beginning more, but I think this probably suffers from something I think I've said with a few other series where it just takes so long for volumes to come out. I don't remember what's happening. By the time I get to the end of the volume, I might, but that's the end of the volume. And this one was so thin as well. I barely remembered anything by the time I got to the end of the volume, so yeah. I feel like it's hard to recommend a series that is that slow to release. I almost want to say wait till it's all out, but we don't know how long that'll be. Next we have Kami-sama Kiss 1 to 3, 6, 10, 15, and 20. Woo, 7 volumes. I feel like this has been the bane of a lot of shoujo collectors' lives at the moment. There are reprints coming. A lot of them I think have hit the US, not very many have hit the UK. I'm not paying retail prices though, so I'm waiting to see if they hit stores, shelves, or Traveling Man online, and I'll pick them up there. I don't know very much about it, but I know a lot of people that I talk to say they love it and they're very excited to get volumes, so I've been very, very slowly picking up. I'm picking up at like a rate of 2 volumes a year at this, I think. Karate Survivor in Another World 1 to 3. Isekai. Guy gets isekai'd and his ability is that he knows karate. It's quite dark, it's a bit gory, a bit brutal. Very slow releases. Do quite enjoy it. It's not amazing though. Next we have Genka Bancho Otome 1 and 2. I picked this up secondhand, completely blind, because I liked the cover, and also it said Otome. And then I was in Traveling Man and I saw they had volume 2, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, because I think it's complete in 2 volumes, which is nice. I don't know anything about it. That is one I really want to try and read soon though. Next we have Kimi ni Chidoke 1, 3, 7, 17, 18, 22, 28. I have picked all of these up secondhand or like really cheap basically, like less than £5 usually. There's even a couple of library copies in here. I have no idea if this is getting a reprint or not, but I started picking it up before I realised how hard it was to find, before I realised that shoujo series were just hard to find. Maybe, I've already got 7, so that's like a 5th of it. Next we have Carnival Volume 1. This is a chunky boy. This I'd been wanting to pick up for ages and ages, and then struggled to find. And then I found it secondhand for a really good price, like I think £8 or something. Don't like paying much for the thick ones. I haven't read it yet though. There are quite a lot of these. There's like 13, and I need to pick up the rest. Next we have Kemono Friends. Welcome to Japari Park. This is I think a one-shot. This I picked up like £3 or £4. It wasn't very much. I had not realised how thick it was going to be when I ordered it, which is wild. I haven't read this yet. Apparently there's a whole bunch of other volumes for the series, just this might be a standalone one though. Next we have Kemono Jihen Volume 1. Now Volume 2 I know is out, but I haven't seen it in any of my stores yet. This is like a monster detective agency sort of thing. Lots of mysteries being solved. Really enjoyed it. So I'm really on the hunt for Volume 2 when I find it through 2. Next we have Kingdom Hearts. Now I do actually plan on getting rid of these, if only because the Tokyo Pop versions apparently never actually finished printing. Instead, Yen Press printed some of these omnis. Now, I of course do prefer singles to omnis, but like I can't actually complete the series with these, whereas I can with this. So this is some Kingdom Hearts 1 and 3, and then Kingdom Hearts 2 1, and then this is the Kingdom Hearts 2 first Omni, and then Kingdom Hearts 3 first volume. Now I don't even know if the second volume of this has come out, but it came out years ago. I want to say 2020, maybe 2021, but that is taking ages for another volume to come out. Next we have Kingdoms of Ruin 2. 3 and 4 are in there as well. I got them for $1.99 from Forbidden Planet. I haven't read them yet. I don't have Volume 1. Next we have The King's Beast Volume 8, as I try to go in around the tree. I believe this is up to date. I have read up to Volume 3. I haven't been particularly wowed by it so far. I hope it gets better. It is a series I want to binge. I'm going to try and read all 5 back to back shortly. Next we have Kirby Manga Mania 1 to 5, and I also think this is up to date. I really like the spines. It makes me think of like sweets. This is it's meant to be like a compilation from the Kirby manga series that ran in Japan, and this is like the author's selection best of sort of deal, but it keeps going, and I'm wondering at a point will they just publish all of them? I think there was one of the bios like comment things from the author in the back. They were surprised that it seems to keep going. I assume it's quite popular. I'm surprised that Kirby's been more popular enough to do up to 5, whereas Mario's only gotten 1. Maybe there's some other issues that means Mario's only gotten 1. I'd have definitely preferred to see more Mario than Kirby, because I've not played any Kirby games, they're not my kind of thing, but I've played a lot of Mario games, like a lot of Mario games. Kiss Him Not Me 1-14, that is complete. I do like Kiss Him Not Me. I know there's a lot of problems with the main character, and I don't really like how, yeah, she loses the weight, then everyone loves her, and then everyone kind of comes to understand that actually they don't love her just because of the way she looks, they love her because of her personality. And then, yeah, I like that there is, even though it's a harem, the reverse harem, she does actually pick someone, and it made me very happy. I really like the ending a lot. Kiss Me at the Stroke of Midnight 1-12. That is complete. I like Kiss Me at the Stroke of Midnight. Like, this is what I mean by the contrast between Dreaming Sun, because the age gap in Kiss Me at the Stroke of Midnight is exactly the same. Yeah, I believe she's 16 and he's 24, but she's so much more mature for her age, and he's so immature for his age. And I also feel like they took things a bit more slow and were like more like actually conscious about the age gap and everything, as opposed to Dreaming Sun, which a lot of people just seem to sort of kind of ignore. Whereas this was like, that was a big focus point and there was a lot of talking about it, and like lots, yeah. I liked a lot of the way that the things were handled. I do feel like it needed like one more volume. I feel like we would deserved a longer epilogue or another volume of an epilogue, because it all kind of just sort of finished. That was such a shit click. It kind of just finished, and I wanted more. I wanted way more. Next we have Kitchen Princess Omnibus 1 and 2. I picked these up both for about £6 secondhand. I hadn't realised how hard it was to find 3 and 4. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pick up 3 and 4, which is a shame. It's meant to be really good and fun, so I was excited by it, but never mind. Night of the Ice 2468. I've managed to pick all of these up secondhand or on sale. I like that I've only managed to pick up even numbers, so I have not started reading this yet. I need to pick up volume 10, so I can have all the evens. Okay, we need to go on. Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, in here we have Koi, can I see past the border? Koi Monogatari Love Stories 1 and 2. I believe that's up to date. I managed to pick up the second one second hand for like £5.80. It was wonderful. Very happy considering Tokyo Pops are easily $13.99 nowadays. I haven't read them yet, but again, I'll probably try and get on it in the new year. Next we have one of my favourite series, and that is Komi Can't Communicate, volumes 1 to 21 up to date, though 22 is out really soon in the UK, I think. I understand that Komi is quite dull for a lot of people, that it's repetitive, things don't really happen, and none of that phases me. It's still one of my favourite. As someone who has also struggled with communication issues when they were younger, it makes me so happy to see Komi growing and improving and making so many friends, and just in general getting happier and just being happy. It's lovely. It's like my comfort manga. I absolutely adore it. I don't think anything can change my mind at all. I'd be so happy if Komi just kept going. I know a lot of people are like, it needs to end already, and it's like, well, boo you, I like it. And I even got this cute little Komi, though it's a bit weird. It kind of melts, even though it's like really cold in here at the moment, and it's still kind of melting. I don't know what's up with it. I have also got the Nendoroid on pre-order. Next we have Komono Confisery 1 to 5. I've actually had 1, 2 and 4 for quite a while, and then I happened upon both 3 and 5 second hand for a good price, so that is the series complete. I only read the first couple because I didn't actually get volume 3 that long ago. They were all bought for less than retail, predominantly around 3 for 2 price, if not cheaper, because I got them second hand. I think it's about a really rich, spoiled girl who gets kicked out, and she ends up working in this bakery making confectionery and stuff, and there's like romance between the guy who runs the bakery, who's like a childhood friend of hers, I think. Okay, next we have Konosuba and a Useless Goddess. Okay, we have Konosuba 1 to 13, which is up to date, and Konosuba An Explosion on This Wonderful World 1 to 5, which is complete. So this is the main series. I don't know how far into the light novels it gets. I found a couple of volumes like around here actually got quite slow and a bit dull, which is really unfortunate considering how much I do love Konosuba. It made me sad. But I think I enjoyed volume 13 a lot more. And then this is a prequel surrounding Megumin and how she got her explosion power and then meeting up with Kazuma, I think. I'm trying to remember. Did I read volume 5? I might not have read volume 5. Next we have Kowloon Generic Romance volume 1. I read this, I really enjoyed it. It's a bit weird to try and explain what happens. I don't know if I can. The artwork's really interesting and stylish. I would recommend, though I've not actually said what it is about, because again, I don't actually know how to explain what it's about. I'm so sorry. But I do have 2 and 3 on pre-order, if that helps. The tree is like properly eating these volumes. Right, in here somewhere we have Kubo Won't Let Me Be... oh my god. Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible 1 to 4, and that is up to date. Very much enjoyed the series. Volume 1 I found a bit boring, actually, and then I read 2 and 3 together, and I absolutely loved it. I was smitten. It's about a guy who is completely invisible. No one ever notices him, but Kubo does, and she's got a crush on him, and she's like trying to spend more time with him, and he's kind of now developed a crush on her, and they're both super awkward, and it's lovely. I love it. Next we have Kuma Bear 1 to 4 and 6. Volume 5 is really hard to find, not retail, but I feel like I really need to pick up Volume 5 regardless, considering the main character is called Yuna, and I named one of my cats after her because we named both the cats after female isekai protagonists, and that is who one of them is named after. So the main character is isekai'd into a video game, given an OP teddy bear onesie, and all like her OP abilities are bear themed. It's lovely, it's wholesome, it's not that deep. Oh, ow. Next we have Kuroko's Basketball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 29, 30. Yeah, I've picked up a lot of these randomly secondhand. I believe there are, I think that 29 and 30 is the last one. So there are 15 Omnis and I've only got 7. So I'm not even halfway through collecting these. This one's meant to be really good. I am really looking forward to reading this one. I just need to try and pick up some more. Ladies on Top Volume 1. This is the most recent steamship title. I feel like Volume 1 was a lot of setup. We didn't really get that much like progress or like meat of the story or smut, to be fair. The general gist seems to be this main character is dating, it looks a bit wedged in, it's a bit wedged in. Oh, this main character is started dating this guy, but she's had a problem in her relationships where she kind of wants to be the one leading, and a lot of guys don't tend to like that. And so that's ended a lot of her relationships, and he's had the opposite problem where he wants the ladies leading and being on top for multiple reasons. They kind of have met their match, but they don't know how, they're too nervous about scaring the other off, they're not articulating it, but they seem to have met their match, and we're just kind of waiting for that penny to drop more than anything. Next we have Snow Lady Blood Volume 1. This was actually given to me by a friend of mine who didn't want it anymore, and then I looked up at how much the rest of the volumes are and I'm like, maybe this is the only volume I shall own then, which is unfortunate because I believe that's what Kill Bill is based on. The Deep-Seated Grudge Part 1. Yeah, I don't know if I'll pick up the rest. It's quite scary pricey. Okay, next we have Land of the Lustrous 1, 2, 4, 5, 7. Again, I think most of these have been bought secondhand for like £5 or less. It's wonderful. I really found Volume 1 a bit strange. I'm not sure how I feel about the artwork and the character design, like the long thin legs and long thin arms just was really, really weird to me, which is a strange reason to put you off reading something, but it has. But also I don't have Volume 3, so I can't really read any further at the moment, but also I think it's been on hiatus. Oh my gosh, my voice is going. Hiatus for a while, so I don't even if I caught them now, I think I'd be stuck for a while. Okay, next we have Laid Back Camp 1 to 5 and 10 and 11. This is wonderful. This is a series that I recommended to my granddad to watch. So the basic premise of this is it's about high schoolers who go camping, and that's it. It's really wholesome, lighthearted, it's sweet. I've learned a lot about camping, which is quite nice. It's a predominantly all-female cast, and it's just them sort of travelling around Japan and trying different campsites. At least so far, I've read up to volume 3, and that's all that's really happened. Really, really lovely. Would recommend if you want a warm, light-hearted series where you also learn a bit, because I have learned a bit about camping, and it's been quite interesting. Oh, don't you look grumpy, don't you? Next, we have Last Round Arthurs Volume 2. I picked this up for $1.99 at Forbidden Planet. They do actually have quite a lot of $1.99 volumes. Oh my gosh, the cat's hitting the tree. Apparently the manga is only 2 volumes long, so I just need to find volume 1 and then I'll be complete. I don't know what it's about. I have bought some of the light novels for my partner. Hopefully he enjoys it. Next we have Lazy Dungeon Master Volume 1. I haven't read it yet. I've not had it that long. I did have it on pre-order. I thought it was an isekai. I don't think it is, but I'll find out. Based on a title like that, the synopsis, I don't think it's going to be too amazing. It'll probably be fine. Stop chewing the tree. Okay, next we have a bunch of Zelda. So we have Zelda Ocarina of Time 1 and 2, and that is Ocarina of Time complete. And then if I can, come on, excuse me tree. What else do we got? I think we've got Majora's Mask in there. We've got Four Swords Adventures Part 1 and 2 complete. We've got Oracle of Seasons and Ages, Minish Cap, Phantom Hourglass, and Link to the Past, and then Twilight Princess 1 to 10, and that's up to date. Don't chew the bauble. So I am a massive Legend of Zelda fan. Favourite game is Wind Waker. Absolutely adore it. Please stop chewing the baubles. And I've had the Zelda manga for such a long time now. So I've tried to kind of group. It's not actually grouped alphabetically. It's grouped I think when it came out ish, and it was around the Oracle or Minish Cap was about when I started reading it. I love Zelda games so much. I love all of these mangas so much. I really love the Seasons ones, even though I didn't really like the games that much. Also, the Majora's Mask one's great. I can't believe how long the Twilight Princess one is going. I remember when they first announced Twilight Princess manga and they were like, yeah, we think it's going to be about 4 volumes. And I remember getting to the end of volume 4 and I was like, this doesn't feel like it's close to the end. And then looked it up and they're like, yeah, we think it's going to be 8 volumes. And then I got to volume 8. Well, I don't think this is the end either. And I looked it up, it just went ongoing. And I was like, oh, okay, I understand. Oh, Twilight Princess is such a beautiful game anyway. Seeing it in manga is just even more gorgeous. Some of the panels, some of the scenes, I think it's been done so well. Would recommend, definitely. Next we got Let's Go Karaoke, and this is a one-shot. So it's about this kid who's in a choir and he kind of gets, not blackmailed, dragged into teaching this mob guy how to sing because the boss loves karaoke and they do a biannual karaoke contest or something, and loser has to get a tattoo done on them by the boss, and they're always really terrible or something like that. So he's trying to get this kid to teach him how to sing. Ow, don't chew my toes. That's kind of the plot. And there's also a whole bit about the kid's voice is starting to break and he's not sounding quite the same, and he's starting to struggle with that. It was quite interesting. I'm not sure it's one of my favourite one-shots, but it definitely wasn't one of the worst. Let this grieving soul retire. Woe is the weakling who leads the strongest party 1 to 3. This wasn't a particularly amazing series. It's about a guy who, him and his friends kind of found a party, and everyone gets really strong and grows really fast apart from him, and his friends don't want him to leave the party. They feel bad, so they let him be admin. He sort of runs the party and all the stuff like that. So he's in a really super powerful party, but he's really weak himself. That's pretty much the plot so far. Not really much has happened since. Let's Dance a Waltz 1 and 3. This is only a 3-volume series. I'm missing volume 2, so I've not read it yet. I'll wait till I get volume 2. Both bought second hand though. Level 1, Demon Lord and One Room Hero 1 to 3. I am definitely behind. I've seen volume 4 out. Volume 5 might also be out. So don't do the lights. Right. They've been so good up till now. So the basic premise is the heroes beat up the Demon Lord. Woo! And now all the hero parties doing their own thing. The hero's kind of just sort of being lazy, doesn't do anything, doesn't leave his house. So the Demon Lord has decided to live with him. Wait, so they did defeat the Demon Lord, but the Demon Lord doesn't really get defeated. They just kind of return to this reduced baby kind of form, and then they kind of have to grow back to being a proper Demon Lord again. So they, as a baby form, has taken pity on this hero and has gone to live with them to encourage them to better themselves. Is kind of the plot. It's very silly. It's not very serious, it's lighthearted. I've quite enjoyed it, but again, not particularly an arduous read. Let's Buy the Land and Cultivate It in a Different World, Volume 1. Haven't read this yet. I'm hoping it's going to be very Harvest Moony, but I've not read it yet. Also isekai. There's a lot of isekai, have you noticed? There's a lot of isekai. Is anyone keeping count? Little Witch Academia 1-3, that is complete and apparently based on the anime, not the other way around. I do feel like Volume 3 kind of just stops. It doesn't feel like a proper ending. It just kind of goes, and everyone had fun, and that was nice. It's like, what? Okay. So it is quite nice. It's a pleasant read. I think the volumes are starting to get harder to find. I'd probably watch the anime if you're interested in it. If they have Levius Est 2 to 6 and 8. Usually I pick these up when I need to make up 3 for 2 in this price bracket, and I've been picking them up for a couple of years now, and this is how many I've accumulated. I only realised a few months ago that this is actually a sequel series, so I need to get on and find the main series, though it's one really big volume, which means it's going to be pricey, and I don't like spending money. Next we got Liquor and Cigarettes, and I assume this is a one-shot. It kind of looks one-shotty. I haven't read it yet. It is plastic wrapped. It's a BL. Is it degenerate, maybe? I don't know. Liquor and Cigarettes? That makes me think it'll be degenerate, but I don't know. I've not read it yet. Next we have Lynx, which is also a BL one-shot. I actually didn't enjoy Lynx very much. Not because necessarily the story was bad, but because a lot of the characters looked so similar. I didn't understand what was happening. I couldn't follow the plot. It was very lovely, the art style was nice, but yes, some of the characters just looked so similar, and I didn't realise at one point like we changed characters between chapters, and I was so confused that like the personalities seemed to change because they look the same. And because it's a one-shot, I feel like I just didn't have enough time to be with the characters to learn who they were. Also, I think it was like 4 couples, so that's 8 characters in this, multiple chapters each. It was just too much for me. I couldn't follow it. So again, it's not even necessarily the story was bad, I just couldn't follow it because of the character design. Living Room Matsunaga-san 1-11. That is a series complete. I've been reading this since like volume 2 or 3. I do quite like it. I have a few issues towards the end of the series with what happened. It is an age gap romance. It's better than Dreaming Sun, but I don't think as good as Kiss Me at the Stroke of Midnight. Well, in terms of how the age gap is handled, at least. But that's just my personal opinion. I do quite like the series. There were some things I liked about the ending, some things I don't. As we have Livingston Volume 2, picked it up second hand, haven't read it yet because I'm missing Volume 1. It is a 4-volume series, I believe. I'll again probably wait till I get them all to read it. Really like the vibrant pink. Next we have Log Horizon Volume 1, which is the main series. However, I believe it was cancelled after 1 volume. I don't know why it was cancelled. If you can hear bells jingling, that is a cat. So Log Horizon main series was cancelled at 1 volume, unfortunately. I don't know why. Maybe I'll have a look into it. Then we have Log Horizon Western Brigade 1-11, and this is a spin-off. My partner has read this. He loves Log Horizon. He's read up to date with the light novels, so he's also read this. Very much enjoyed it. He said that some of it tied into the main series, which was quite neat. I think I've read the first 3, but as in I read the first 3 like 6 years ago maybe, so I don't really remember too much. It is a video game isekai, I remember that much. Next we have Look Back, and this is a one-shot, I think by the same author as Chainsaw Man. This was quite sad. It's about some people who draw manga panels for their school newspaper and then go on to actually draw manga. It was very sad. It was again not the worst one-shot I've read, but not my favourite because it made me sad, and I don't like things that make me sad. Next I have Love and Heart 1-5. I very much enjoy Love and Heart. It is a very problematic series. The main character is very manipulative, and everyone seems to be aware of the fact apart from the female lead. But I still very much enjoy it. I like that kind of romance. It's fun to read about. I've got 6 on pre-order, I think. Then we've got Love and Lies 1-3 and 10 and 11. All of these were secondhand or bought on sale. I haven't started reading it yet. I think it might actually be complete soon, so I might try and grab up more volumes. I see a lot of people say good things about it. Next we have Love at 14-11. I grabbed this discounted at Forbidden Planet. Obviously, I've not read it. I don't have any other volumes. Okay, next we have Love Hina, and we've got 1 to 9 down here, and 10 to 14 up here. Just gonna scoot down to these ones for now. So, Love Hina 1 to 3 was some of the first manga I ever owned. It was Love Hina 1 to 3 and some Naruto were given to me. Basically, it's what started it all. I remember sitting down and then reading this, and I really enjoyed the first 3 volumes. I must have read volumes 1 to 3 of Love Hina like dozens and dozens of times. This was actually some of the first manga I then picked up secondhand. You can see that volume 7's quite battered, but very much enjoy the series. I did actually go and read it. I think I read the scans when I was like 15 somewhere, enjoyed it, realised that I could get more physicals, and then got them when I was like 18ish. I haven't finished reading the physicals that I have, but I did finish reading the series through scans when I was much younger. I do like the series. I know there's so many problematic elements with it, I am aware, but I have some nostalgia tinted glasses when it comes to this series. I'm again being lazy and not getting the stepladder out, so I am on my tiptoes. Okay, next we have Love in Focus volumes 1 to 3, and that is a complete series. I must say, of all the series from this manga artist, this is my least favourite. I know loads of people love it, it just wasn't my kind of thing. I just didn't really gel with it. It's a boarding house high school romance with a focus on photography. That's pretty much it. It's pretty much the premise. It's very fine. I prefer some of the other series by the same artist though. As we have Love in Hell, the complete trilogy. So this is an Omni. I think it's, yeah, 3 trilogy. I haven't read it yet. My partner picked it up for me because sometimes he just buys me random manga, but I've not read it yet. And next we have Love Me Not 1 to 11. And 12 to get things to fit. Some things are kind of slotted in a bit funnily at the moment. So of all the series by this manga artist, this one's definitely my favourite, though in general there's a lot of miscommunication in her series which puts me off, but this one's my favourite primarily because we get 2 couples instead of just 1 couple, and a slight spoiler, one of the couples gets together like halfway through the series and then the focus kind of shifts to the other couple. So we do actually get to see some dating in one of her series. But of course, the art style is forever gorgeous. I mean, it's just, I absolutely adore her covers so much. And I did actually kind of like the ending for this. I kind of wish there was maybe a little bit more, but I did enjoy it. Next we have Love of Kill 2458. These have all been bought secondhand. This one is unfortunately a bit more damaged than I realised. I actually got this one in Forbidden Planet. Even at $5.99, I'd have probably held off. I just didn't realise in store how bad the damage was. I haven't started reading it, I'm missing volume 1. I know it's meant to be really, really good, and I really do want to start reading it, but I don't see volume 1s anywhere. Actually, no, that's not true. I saw one once, it was retail, so I was like, nope. Next we have Lovesick Ellie 1 to 6, which is up to date. 7 is actually out recently, but my pre-ordered copy hasn't shipped yet. I very much enjoy Lovesick Ellie. This is another high school romance, but they get together like really early on, volume 1 or volume 2, and I feel like it's a little bit more realistic because our main character Ellie is kind of what's the word? She's kind of treated like a perv, and I don't think that's quite fair on Ellie. She's interested in activities of a mature nature, which I think feels more realistic for a teenage girl, because I think there's a lot of high school romances where it's like, oh my god, we held hands, oh, and a faint or something. Whereas she kind of wants to do way more than that. She's just quite nervous about it, and it just feels a bit more realistic, and I do like it. Also, the main character's lovely. He does bully her a little bit, but it's more like light-hearted teasing, I think. Next we have Lust Gias 1 to 5, and I think that's up to date. I actually struggled to find volume 4 for ages. I actually didn't get volume 4 all that long ago. This is a plastic wrap series. I wouldn't recommend it. It is really, really terrible. Mostly centers around our main guy character. His like female friend ends up with this like cursed book, and she needs satisfying, and only he can do it. And then like it happens to another girl, and then it happens to his teacher, and that's about as far as I've gone. I it's also the teacher. It's really disturbing. Do not recommend. This we have Made in Abyss 1 to 7, and that is behind. I have a feeling volume 10 might be out, but it doesn't release all that frequently. I have really enjoyed the mystery side of this, and the art style is quite distinct. It doesn't really use like the colour white that much. There's a lot of shading. It's quite grey. It's quite dark, like literally dark series. I'm really intrigued to see what is at the bottom of the abyss and what is going on. The way the children are depicted is quite disturbing. There's a lot of pee and nudity, considering a lot of the characters are children. Next we have Madoc 1 and 2. Now, I have only read volume 1, and I believe volume 3 is on its way, and it's the final volume in the series. I picked this up because a friend of mine picked it up, and I was like, oh, okay, well, if you're trying it, I'll try it. I feel like the opening chapter was one of the most surprising things I've ever read. It caught me by surprise so much, because my friend's usually so, like, calm and quiet, and then I read this, and I was like, is this what you enjoy reading? Oh my gosh. Basically, there's a guy with a very interesting kink surrounding eating human flesh, basically. But he doesn't want to hurt anyone, which is nice, I guess. So he ends up making a deal with a devil who is like, well, if I can sate your interest without hurting anyone, your soul becomes mine. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. And then it gets like really kinky, and then the guy's like, yep, you can take me to hell now. And the devil kind of puts him to work in a brothel, I think, and then that's as far as I've gotten. And I was like, oh my goodness gracious me. Next we have Maggie, volumes 1 to, well, if I just go down the shelf, it's 1 to 37 and it's complete. I have read up to, I think, volume 11 or 12, and then I stopped picking the series up for a while, and then I got back into it recently, and actually a good chunk of this was either from Travelling Men or bought second hand. I have some mixed feelings upon the series, mostly because I used to read it when I was commuting into work and by train, but I stopped doing that, and I was about the point I stopped reading it. So like, I'm struggling to pick it back up just because I've got this mentality of I need to read it on the train, but I don't really get on trains anymore. It's very strange. But I had been really enjoying it. There's literally no other reason I stopped reading it. Next we have this series, which is Magical Explorer, reborn as a side character in a fantasy dating sim, volume 1. This was meh. It was fine. Isekai'd into a harem bromance game, but he's playing the best friend instead of the main character. Yeah, it was very okay. Volume 1 didn't like grab me. Next we have another isekai. We have the Magical Revolution reincarnated princess genius young lady. Oh wait, there's some more words in that. The Magical Revolution of the Reincarnated Princess and the Genius Young Lady. I did think, this title doesn't make sense. Volumes 1 and 2. So I've read volume 1, and it is a GL isekai. It was pleasant, it was lighthearted. Again, not too much happened. I think she needed to leave. Did she get broken up with? And she like swept in, was like, I'll have her instead. And now they're just kind of like having some fun. She's confused all the time, and she's just having a nice time. Magic Arts and Dahlia Wilts No More, volumes 1 and 2. Oh dear. I love this series. Another isekai. There's a lot of isekais. We're going to hit a lot more on the next couple of shelves as well. There seems to be a lot of isekais under I and M. So our main character is isekai'd into this world. This is our main character, and in this world, these like artisans produce products, and they can use these like magic stones to power them, kind of in lieu of like electricity and stuff. And she uses her past memories to help make these contraptions. So one of the things she makes is basically a hairdryer using like a fire stone and an air stone or something, and that's mostly what she does. Her dad was a craftsman as well, and she just helps him. Some not so great things happen to her in volume 1, but they do improve by the end, and they get even better in volume 2. Volume 3 is definitely out, but I've not seen it cheap enough for me to pick up yet. If I see it in store, I'll probably grab it. As part of 3 for 2, that is. But would definitely recommend if you're interested in a female-led isekai. Next we have Mages of the Library 1, 2, and 5. So 1 and 2 I got 3 for 2, and volume 5 I think I got discounted for £5. The art in this is absolutely stunning. I mean, like, this is just the first double page shot I've come across. So lovely. So it's about this kid who really likes reading, but because he's an elf or because of his race, he's not really allowed to read the books. He's not allowed to access the library. But all he wants to do is read. And then some people turn up to the village. Things happen, and I think do they take him away so he can join the library people? That's such a terrible explanation. The art is gorgeous though, and I really like how thick they are. I really feel like you get some bang for your buck. Just need to track down 3 and 4, and I think 6 might be out as well. The maid I hired recently is Mysterious 1 to 3, and I'm getting volume 4 for Christmas. This was quite light-hearted. Volume 4 it's not bad, but I was tickled. It's a volume 1 at least. All the chapters are kind of like one-shot, short, independent chapters where basically this guy lives in a house and his maid's mysterious. I really like that the maid's eyes are purple. I always like manga series that do like a small little bit of colour in the volumes. By the end of volume 2, which is what I've read up to, we do actually start to get like a bit more continuous story. So I'm looking forward to reading 3 and 4 together to see if that continues. Next we have Maid Sama 1, 2, 3, 4 and 7, 8. I have read the first one and then it's really hard to find these volumes now. So I'm waiting to see if they do a reprint. Though I did see a whole bunch of this Omni when I was last in London, so my hope is they are reprinting it. Also Rainbow Spines. So basically our main character is like a stuck-up school president counselor person, but to make some money she works in a maid cafe, and this like delinquent guy finds out and teases her about it, keeps her on her toes. That's kind of been all that's happened so far. I know it's very popular, so I do want to get more into it if I can find volumes. As we have Mame Coordinate Volume 1. So our main character is a right cutie pie and was scouted to be a model. However, she has an appalling fashion sense and doesn't know how to dress herself, doesn't know how to do her hair, her makeup. So she keeps not actually getting jobs, and she's on the point that her agency want to let her go because she's not getting any jobs. So she is handed to someone with the expectation that she's just going to fail, but this person that's now in charge of her is like, I'm going to make you succeed, and is like trying to train her to be a model because she's been scouted not because of her model abilities, just because she looks nice. So she needs to do the proper training. I don't think it's a very long series. I think I'm getting another volume for Christmas. It was quite sweet. I love the pastel spine. It's a very expensive series though because it's Tokyo Pop. As we have A Man and His Cat 1 to 5 and 6 and 7. I absolutely love A Man and His Cat. It is such a wholesome, we just ignore that, such a wholesome, sweet series. I would definitely recommend if you're keen on cats. To be fair, even if you're not keen on cats, it's still a lovely series. I feel like volumes 1 to 5 was predominantly all focused on the cats, but now in the last few volumes we're getting a bit more focused on the guy who owns the main cat guy and like his background, because he used to be a very famous pianist, now he's a music teacher, and kind of just like his life and people around him, and it's been lovely. Would recommend if you can find it for a much better price than I did. I was very naughty on this volume. Did get it for 3 for 2 though, but still. Okay, next we've got some manga classics. So we've got Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, Dracula, Frankenstein, Great Expectations, Hamlet, Jungle Book, Sense and Sensibility, Scarlet Letter, Macbeth, Othello, Pride and Prejudice, Stories of Edgar Allan Poe, and Romeo and Juliet. Now, I think these are absolutely amazing. So these are technically published by Udon Entertainment, and there is a website called Manga Classics where for every single volume they've put out, they've actually got a full lesson plan where you can use this if you're a teacher with your students, and there's lesson plans depending on the grade of the student. I can't remember if they do like all the way up to A level, which, I mean, that's I don't know what it is in other countries, but in the UK it's like GCSE and A-level are like the main qualifications when you're in school. I think they do younger as well, which I think is absolutely amazing. They also do versions, so this is like the traditional Old English, but some of them, like for example the Romeo and Juliet, wherever I've put that, you can also get that in modern English if you decide that you're more interested in that, you find that easier to follow. I actually convinced my works book club to do the stories of Edgar Allan Poe, and it was really interesting reading the stories that I'd known of for so long, but in a manga format. Like, which stories Edgar Allan Poe again? So like The Telltale Heart, The Fall of the House of Usher, The Mask of the Red Death, and The Raven. I mean, The Raven is quite a famous story, and there was like a Simpsons version, which I probably know the best. I imagine some people here might also know that the best. And like some of the lines, it was like very familiar, like suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more, quoth the Raven, nevermore. Yeah, so these really excited me because I generally find that I struggle a lot reading more classical literature. I just struggle to process, especially names, locations, that sort of thing. So being able to read it in manga form means that I can still take in classical stories and without having to actually read classical stories. Next we have Manga? Oh my gosh, I've been saying manga too much. Manga Diary of a Male Porn Star 1 and 2, and I think I'm getting 3 for Christmas again. I really like this series a lot. It is a plastic wrap series, unsurprisingly, and it is technically an autobiography about a guy who ended up in the adult entertainment industry in Japan, and just kind of how it went. And it's like a behind the scenes of porn, basically, and it's really interesting. Like there's like things about lighting and how they do certain things and how everything's faked and how they get paid and stuff like that. Genuinely really interesting. I was gonna say it's not too explicit, but it is, but it's almost told in almost like a matter-of-fact educational. It doesn't feel the same. It's not like reading a FAQ or anything. It is still obviously a plastic wrap series. It's obviously still an adult topic, but I did enjoy this quite a bit. Would recommend if you're 18 plus. And next we have Manga Dogs 1, 2, and 3, and I believe this is the series complete. I understand this might be a reverse harem. I don't know much more about it. I picked up some of these, once again for $1.99 from Forbidden Planet. I think only volume 1 I picked up. Only volume 1 I had to go and find secondhand. I believe it's the same manga artist as Vampire Dormitory, which I'm quite enjoying at the moment. So looking forward to getting into that since it's complete. And next we have Mao 1 to 8. I've only read the first couple and then didn't get around to reading the rest, and then so much has come out. These come up so quickly. So I have started picking up other series by the same manga artist, like Run a Half, and is it Urusei is the same artist? It was quite interesting. It just seemed to be like yokai, traveling, mystery, fighty stuff. I'm enjoying the very colourful spines. Next we have Mars Red 1 to 3, and that is complete series. I have read volume 1. It's like vampires in Paris, I think, about 60, 70 years ago. I have no idea nowadays. I wasn't too blown away. It was okay. It took me a while to get through the volume, so that's why I've not rushed to read 2 and 3, but I really should. And next we've got Mashima's Heroes, which is a one-shot, and this is kind of a very strange crossover between the main characters out of Hiro Mashima's main series, which is Rave Master, Fairy Tail, and Eden Zero. So that's Rave Master, Fairy Tail, and Zero. The only one I haven't read is Rave Master, not for lack of trying, but more because the volumes are out of print. I have like 6 random volumes, maybe even less than that. But if they do a reprint, I'll pick it up, but I'm not paying the stupid prices that some people charge for it on eBay. I enjoyed it because I like Fairy Tail, I like Eden Zero, and it was very silly crossover. It was quite fun, all the characters. Like, it was one of those, like, everyone's here, and it was fun. If you're a fan of his series, I would definitely try it out. It's only 1 volume. And next we have Mashal Volume 1, but also the rest of Mashal's right here. So 1 to 9, that is definitely up to date. I haven't even had 9 all that long. I love Mashal. It's so wonderfully dumb, silly, it's magic. It's Harry Potter meets One Punch man, basically. It is starting to have some more serious moments because it does unfortunately feel like it's coming to the end of the series, which is a shame because I really, really enjoy it and I'd love if it kept going. I would definitely recommend if you want a really silly but serious fighty, punchy, try this one. Just turn the fairy lights around so you can get some better lighting. Okay, what have we got down here? We have Master Keaton. He's post-its to cover the nips and the spines. That's why they're all over the place. We have Master Keaton 1 and 9. My partner picked up volume 1 because it's been enjoying Urasawa, and volume 9 I managed to grab for half price. Haven't started reading it. My partner wants to wait to read it till we get a few more though as well. The Masterful Cat is Depressed Again volume 2. Again, got it off Blackwell's for like $5.99. I just need to track down volume 1. The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. I've got 1 to 5 and 10 and 15, and also The Misfortune of Kion and Koizumi. Yeah, I think that's a one-shot as well. I started picking these up secondhand because I heard Haruhi Suzumiya was like a classic series, and then I hadn't realised how hard it apparently seems to be to grab these volumes. Also, it's so confusing. There's been like 3 different manga series, and it's not always clear which one I'm trying to pick up. The covers are different, but I've definitely noticed with secondhand places, the cover picture they show isn't necessarily an indication of what you receive. So I would love to try and read this series one day, I'm gonna hope to keep seeing them as I collect. And next we have Meteor Prince Volume 1, and we do also have Volume 2 here. My partner rearranged these shelves. I don't know why he did it this way. So that is a 2-volume shoujo. I haven't read it yet. I think I got them both secondhand a little bit ago. And next we have Message to Adolf Part 1. There is a Part 2, so I'm not up to date. I'm not complete on that. This, I believe, is a series that kind of follows multiple people called Adolf, one of which being that Adolf. I think there's also like a guy that's Jewish called Adolf, maybe? I'm not sure. I've not read it yet. I'm a bit dubious to read it. I picked it up because it was on sale on Amazon, and it's like one of those people hail as like a classic, you need to read this kind of series. So that's why I grabbed it, but I'm a bit nervous to be honest. And next we've got Midnight Secretary 1 to 7, and that is a series complete. All of these were picked up secondhand. I think it took me like just over 2 years to be able to collect them all. I haven't got around to reading it yet. I think Geeky Dreams really likes this series. Apparently it's like, is it smutty? So I'm interested in reading that soon as well. Next we've got Might As Well Cheat. I got transported to another world where I can live my wildest dreams. 1 to 3, and that is up to date-ish. So this guy gets isekai'd, and he's given a similar ability to a number of other isekais where he can produce potions and stuff. So he doesn't have to worry about money because he can just sell them off. And he decides to spend his life frequenting brothels, basically. Yeah. Though by volume 3, he kind of seems to have gotten to a point where he's like, maybe I should do something else with my life. And he kind of is trying, there's like a new arc that's kind of starting where he's trying to do something, basically. Minami Nanami Wants to Shine Volume 1. I picked this up randomly because I was like, I like picking up series randomly sometimes when I'm manga shopping, and then someone told me that this is actually a spin-off / sequel, I can't remember which, to another series which I don't have, so I haven't started reading it yet. I can't remember what the series is off the top of my head, but I am going to have to hold off reading that, unfortunately. Next we have The Misfit of Demon King Academy 1 to 4. This is another one where it's not an isekai, he's just kind of been reborn into the same world like 1,000 years later, and it's a demon king that is being reborn, and he's now attending an academy that is in the name of said demon king. But because it's been so long, facts and information about the demon king have kind of gotten a bit muddled over time, and they're not quite correct. And so that some of the like questions on the exam is like, what's the name of the demon king? And he's like, my name is this. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's this very similar sounding name. And he's like, no, my name is definitely this. Because he's like, yep, I'm the demon king. And then everyone's like, yes, of course you are. And then they're like, practicing magic and stuff, and he's like, it would be way more, that's not how my spell was written, if you do it this way it's way more better, and they're like, don't you disrespect the word of the Demon King. Oh right, actually you're correct, it's way better now. It is very silly, it's very light-hearted. However, I believe the manga artist unfortunately passed away, and I don't think there is going to be any more. It was okay. It was a fun read. It's not outstanding though, especially now it's probably not going to finish. Miss Kobanashi's Dragon Maid 1, 2, and Miss Kobanashi's made Elma's Office Lady Diary Volume 4. So I have read, I think, volumes 1 of the main series, maybe 1 and 2 actually. I've had these 2 volumes quite a long time. I watched a couple episodes of the anime while I was at uni, and it was great. It was so silly and fun. Where basically this office worker has gone drunk one evening and she kind of saves this dragon, and the next day when she wakes up there's this like maid girl in her apartment, and it turns out that this is the dragon, and the dragon's like, as a thank you, I'm gonna be your maid whether you like it or not. And that's kind of the premise, and it's kind of spun out. There's like 6 different spin-offs. It's insane. So I'm very, very behind, though I don't think the main series releases volumes all that often. Next we have Millennium Snow 1 and 4. I've read volume 1. It is a 4-volume series, just the volumes are quite hard to find. I don't think it's in print. It's the same manga artist as Ouran High School Host Club. I think it's about vampires and a girl who's terminally ill. Does she want to become a vampire? And he's like, no. Or am I mixing up that with it? Am I mixing that up with another series? It was okay, but I've, again, only read volume 1, and I'm struggling to track down 2 and 3. Mint Chocolate 1 to 5. I know there's a lot of opinions on this series because technically it is a step-sibling romance. However, personally, I think it's okay in this series because the pair of them were basically already head over heels in love with each other before their parents got married, and they only found out their parents had gotten married as they were moving in with each other, which also seems to be a weirdly common trope in manga, and I don't understand. Like, do you not want your kids to meet each other? Do you not like tell your kids who you're marrying? I don't get it. So I feel like this one is just kind of unfortunate for the pair of them because like they already had feelings for each other, and now they're kind of living together. They're just like with each other a lot of the time, so it was almost inevitable that something was going to happen. But also, it's just manga, and the whole thing is they're really awkward and nervous about doing anything now because their parents are married. Next we have Mission Yozakura Family Volume 1. I've only had this volume for a few days actually, and I read it yesterday, day before. I quite enjoyed it. It seems to be really hyped up at the moment, so I'm looking forward a lot to reading more of this when it gets more in print. Basically, this guy is kind of blackmailed into marrying his childhood friend to protect her, protect himself so he doesn't die, because I have jumped the gun so much. Oh my god. There's this guy, and he's got a childhood friend. Her brother starts trying to kill him because he doesn't want any boys getting near his darling little sister. So the only way he can't attack him is if the childhood friend gets married to the girl, so you can't attack family. If you followed any of that, well done. It's very funny, it's very silly, it's kind of a spy assassin-y kind of series. As we have Missions of Love 1 to 3, 5, 6, 9, 11, 15, 16, 18. So I think I'm over halfway collecting this series. I don't believe it's a very popular series. I don't want to say out of print, but Volume 4 is apparently very tricky to find, so I'm a bit nervous about picking that one up. Both Emma and Tiffany sold their volumes of this because they didn't enjoy it, which also makes me nervous. I'm hoping it's so bad I enjoy it. That's my hope at the moment. Next we have Mob Psycho 100, 1 to 3 and 5 and 6. I have read volume 1. I did enjoy the story. Personally, I don't like the artwork. I'm sorry. I don't like it. And I know a lot of people are like, look past the artwork, or the artwork's so different, it's great. I just don't like it. I like really smooth round lines. I'm very fussy and basic. But the story was good. I actually have been, I've had gaps in this quite a while. I still have a volume 4 missing. But I also am missing some later volumes. I need to grab those.